3-3. As we head to 141 pounds, Chad Redd Jr. ranked 5th in the country. For Nebraska, he's a 4-time All-American. And Kizhan Clark, he's ranked 13th in the country. Studying law at North Carolina, came over from American University, wrestled for Teague Moore. Coleman Scott, really happy to have him here at 141 in the middle of this North Carolina lineup.
Oh, wow. How would it like a guy like that coming into your program here? Sean Clark, you know, got his undergrad at American University, a prestigious university, and qualified. Didn't get any help from the athletic department as far as getting getting into the Carolina Law School. So impressive academic record for that. Now be able to go ahead and represent the Tar Heels and go into law school. That's very impressive.
Chad Redd 6th at the national tournament last March. He was 4th in the Big Tens.
My time.
His 6th year. All of them at 141 pounds. He was 16-6 last year. How about 141, Jim, in the Big Ten?
Yeah, and nationally, of course, too. So, but the Big Ten with the guys that are moving up there, Michich. We saw that a little bit last year with
move him with your hands.
Sebastian Rivera moving up as well. But it's just fantastic weight class this year. When you come back to Lincoln, Nebraska, first week of March, you're going to see some scrapping at this weight.
No score, 40 seconds in.
Good hands, CJ.
Clark 2 years ago was 36-7, an NWCA All-American honorable mention. That was down at 149 pounds. That is 3rd all-time wins in a season at American.
No, he's you know, Coleman Scott, obviously a lot of respect for Chad Redd. I mean, he always gets it done, guts it out, and he's been banged up a little bit at the end of the season. But you're always going to, you've seen him on the victory stand every time. He's made the podium. And I know in this weight class that he's always going to be dangerous.
Keep the hands legal.
But he's mentally tough, too.
Here now. Let's work.
You can't go what that guy's gone through without, and get on the podium every year, being consistent without being mentally tough.
Last 3 years at the Big Ten Championships, a runner-up, 3rd, and a 4th place finish most recently. That was last March at Penn State. 120 here in the first period. Shane Sparks, Jim Gibbons, so glad to have you aboard our first dual meets here on the Big Ten Network, and what a schedule we have all season long. The bar continues to get raised on this network.
Bring a lot of wrestling this year. Got one coming up on Saturday that'll be fun to watch. Take a break off in December. We're back at it in January, February with a really nice slate of wrestling. These two guys, a lot of respect for each other. I think mainly the respect that Redd has for Clark. Clark's out there in a pretty square stance. Hasn't been able to drop levels and explode. See what he does off this 2-on-1 tie. Nothing, but both guys like to operate in space. Like Coleman Scott said on the call, he's got the 2 fastest guys in the gym. These two are. Lots of
speed
explosion.
never slumps.
Yeah.
Short time here in the 15 seconds. See if either one of these guys will open things up late.
They're straight on double. That's really kind of the first shot. Now, first effort there by Clark. Lowered his level a couple times.
Scoreless first period. Looking at some of the big dates here in the Big Ten Network. Minnesota and Iowa in that border battle. January 7th, hoops and headlocks at Mackey Arena. January 23rd, how about Penn State, Iowa? January 28th, I've already began counting down the dates for that duel, and we'll cap it off back here in Lincoln, Nebraska, 6th and 7th of March with the Big Ten Championships. Quick escape there from Redd. Speak, Jim, just how important quick escapes are.
Well, you get a 0-0 match right there right now. Redd's tough in the top position. He could go ahead and turn this around in the top, but it just gives you more options to win. And, you know, we don't really think that this match is probably going to be decided by riding time. Both guys are pretty explosive getting out from underneath, but again, if you get out quick, you got an opportunity to go ahead and
use that.
Gives you options, and it's not just a ride. Usually it's nice work there by Clark here with and he has Red a little bit down, but it's not just usually, you know, a full 1 minute ride. A lot of times in tight matches, it's, you know, 6-10 second goes. That'll be more the case. One of these guys get ridden, it's probably more like that.
Red leading it 1-0 out of New Palestine High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. 4-time state champion, a perfect 183-0 record.
You know, and to be honest with you, when I'm watching wrestling, I think it's pretty exciting when one guy wants to get out and the other guy wants to keep him down. You get explosive things that happen, and some flurries happen.
Use it. Center here.
It's a little bit different than what we're seeing right now, where you have so much respect for the two guys, you don't see any action, right? So sometimes action like that opens up a match.
That's a stall.
Stall warning, Clark.
Stalling on Clark.
And it's interesting because Clark has been the one that has kind of held the center, but Red has been more active with his hands.
Jerron Quincy out of Southfield, Wisconsin. Our head official working the edge is Mike Frederickson out of Wichita, Kansas. Final seconds ticking away in this second period. Just that early escape this period, the only tally on the board.
Green choice, third period.
Chad Red Jr. 1-0 to the third. Choice to the Tar Heel. And Clark will go on bottom. No surprise there. Clark out of Tampa, Florida, before wrestling at American University. Two-time state finalist, the state champion, the first at Riverview High School.
Good stand up there by Clark, and now he comes back through. Good explosive action by both guys in the bottom position. So, you know, you need to be thinking about what the overtime rules have changed to this year. We can go into that a little bit. You know, instead of having a 1 minute first period on the feet, they've moved to 2 minutes on the
Working
on the feet
offense,
in the first
man.
period. And any type of time, riding time difference will then settle the difference, right, in the tiebreaker period. So, a little bit different overtime format. I think it's a great improvement on the rules, and more likely going to have the guys deciding it out there on the mat, and not as much riding time difference settling it.
Here in this match, Jim, these guys have wrestled about 6 minutes in a neutral position. Neither one has had a real serious threat up to this point.
Yeah, and I think that it's really, Clark has been the one that's been warned. And if I was cornering him, I want to make sure that he was aware of that. And he's on the road. You got to be aware that you're less likely to get, you know, stalling calls against the home team when you're on the road. So it's got to be you. But just when I say that,
they hit Chad Red,
yeah,
so each guy hit with a stall call.
Yeah, and you know, I like the way that was called.
Fingers,
though.
man,
I
get
think
out of
that
him.
Jared Quincy did a nice job on that, and he's really trying to get one of these guys to take a little risk. There it is, straight on double leg. Nice job of fighting that off by Red. So
neutralize that with an underhook on the left side to Chad Red. Final 20 seconds here in regulation.
Did a nice job of dropping his hips, not bending over at the waist, and arching his back, and using everything he had to get rid of that tie. And straight on double would have taken down a lot of guys.
You mentioned the new overtime rules. And we will head to sudden victory.
Look at this job of Red fighting off this double. Drops in, drops his hips. Right there, arches his back, makes himself heavy. Not enough follow through on the shot by Clark. Both these guys are pretty athletic, but again, Clark has been the aggressor, I think, in the last, you'd have to say, in the last minute and a half with those shots.
2 minutes here in sudden victory. Riding time erased. Both these guys have been hit with a stall warning. So another stall call on either wrestler in this match would be over. Yeah. So really important here to maintain territory, butt to the center, move forward, press the action, pressure.
And not only that, but these guys are both like to attack from the free shot, so they've got to create some action and get their feet moving and create angles other than just leaning into the guy and touching him. So kind of the electric, interesting that right there they just kind of went in each other really soft as opposed to looking at the shot. And saw Clark look over from the scoreboard. But I really think it's on Red right now. to kind of get it going.
It's a big early season matchup. Red ranked 5th, Clark ranked 13th. This could have postseason implications.
Yeah, there's the shot there by Red, but he gets sprawled out. Nice job of coming back up to his feet. He's got the hands locked right there, pops his hips in, and look at the ability of Clark to be able to ward that off. Now he's back in on a shot, and this is the action that we wanted to see in the first period, but it was worth waiting for.
How did Clark not give up that takedown? Like a cat.
Well, how did Red, not stay on his belly there and get back up to his feet? That was the most impressive thing I saw.
Let's work, man.
30 seconds left in this 2-minute set in victory.
Straight on shot there by Clark. Fought off a little bit better there by Red.
Another shot there by Clark.
Comes back in.
And he's got the takedown to win it.
Wow, what persistence there by Clark.
Right here, man.
Kizhan Clark comes into Lincoln and knocks off the 5th-ranked 141-pounder in the country, the 4-time All-American Chad Red. Here's another look at the winning takedown, Jim.
Yeah, look at this. And this time he stays with it. See how he gets his lower body active right there and just drives into it. Before it was kind of like a one and done. Got up to his feet. Nice job of driving through by Clark and gets the big upset.
There's Austin O'Connor, the first national champion for North Carolina since T.J. Jaworski back in 1995. He's up a weight, won that title at 149, ranked number 2 in the country. Austin O'Connor and Peyton Robb, Jim, he's down from 165. So these two guys meeting in the middle here at 157. I expect an all-out brawl between these two.
Yeah, I think we've seen Robb wrestle before, and he's entertaining, he gets after it, but this Austin O'Connor, the confidence of a national champion coming into this arena, and it's just funny as the crowd noise goes down.
Keep working here.
Just watching O'Connor throughout the course of the afternoon and just being around him and just observing him. He doesn't, there's no wasted motion in anything he does. He just, if you look at him, he's on the bench with a seat, and his wheels are turning mentally, and it's almost enough to get him warmed up by the way he approaches his mental approach to getting out there.
Well, you made the point earlier that he doesn't warm up physically. No. He warms up in his mind. Between the ears is where he gets it done.
Just watching this guy was fascinating to me here today.
The ACC Wrestler of the Year, O'Connor, a 2-time ACC champion, a 4-time Illinois State champion out of St. Rita.
And some guys, Shane, are just heavy. You make that shot on them or whatever, and you get beat up by their shin bone or their knee or whatever. you just wish you had to even get it's like hitting an aircraft carrier or something like that with a beer bottle. But it's like you bounce them off. He's had that feel at 149, but I think he's still got that same feel. Some guys are just like that no matter what weight class they go to, and he's that guy. And Coleman Scott talks about him having a high wrestling IQ. He had to have a high wrestling IQ because Sammy Sasso at the finals, those are, we've seen Sammy win some close, tight matches and do it with his IQ. And that was a cerebral match between those two. He won a tight one in the end and walked away with a national title. So moving up a weight class, what a great experience there. I think he's ready for that weight class, and it's going to, every weight class is tough, let's face it, but that 57-pound weight class got some monsters in it.
Guys like Ryan Deacon of Northwestern, he's ranked 3rd. Brayton Lee, Minnesota, 5th. Caleb Young of Iowa, 6th. We're scoreless. 60 seconds remaining here in the first. Yeah, O'Connor, that was a 1-1 match in the NCAA Finals last March at 149 with about 30 seconds left. O'Connor with a takedown and secured the victory 3-1. What are the biggest differences, Jim, you see 149 up to 157 where O'Connor will have to make some adjustments?
Well, just the power of the guys. And you're going to be able to feel that during the course of the season. There's a difference between, there it is right there, just a good job by Robb. He's got the ankle secured right there, elbow deep. Now he comes out the back door. But this is the stuff that you see from O'Connor. Doesn't have it yet. He pushes back into him at the critical moment right there. He gets the whizzer in, but he's got the far ankle. Robb should, if he can pull him back on the mat a little bit, might get the takedown.
He's got that left toe inside the cylinder, looking for a takedown, and he's got it with 5 seconds.
Great job by Robb right there. Yeah, I think they're taking the challenge brick already came out because it was a kind of a premature challenge, anticipating they weren't going to get the call.
The officials discuss. Short time takedown for Robb with 5 seconds left in the first period. Coleman Scott is not happy.
Well, he thought that the officials were going to look at it on their own, and they have opted not to do that.
Watching the coaches go at it, Jim, that's worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the shot here by Peyton Robb. He's able to go ahead and drop down. Notice how he secures the ankle right there. Now we'll take a look at the edge of the mat action as he constantly tried to improve. He has the far ankle, right there. He knocks him to his rear. It looked like it was close. As you mentioned, that may not have got all the way down there, but they chose not to look at it.
There have been some close calls. Good little flurry here early second period.
And what you like to see if you're Nebraska Cornhusker, you like to see those unanswered points at the end of the period there. And nice job by Robb making the national champ O'Connor work for it a little bit.
Exactly, 32 seconds of riding time might not seem like a big deal. That's a huge deal in these kind of matches.
And just a little thing you see there, just a little stand up out of his stance. Comes a little bit of an exhale right there.
Jim, the last time Austin O'Connor lost was at the 2019 Midlands against Pat Lugo of Iowa.
Quality opponent.
Stay legal.
And so this is a position he wasn't in during his run. I don't recall ever seeing him, down in the match, not needing. There's a difference between a 1-1 match, but now he's going to have to go out and manufacture points. And I think it's really important for Robb to kind of remember how he got to this point. Stay on the offense, because when you have somebody tracking you, it's pretty easy to take some shots at distance and get some nice angles, and you just got to be open to scoring.
Pops his head out, shucks him by, and now O'Connor with an opportunity at the edge. He's got a single leg below the knee.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it finished yet, because he hasn't. See how Robb has spread him out right there, and he really hasn't secured the ankle all the way. He's a little bit higher, can't secure that leg, and he's going to burn a lot of time here with 12 seconds left. He gets stalemate.
Good flexibility and fight there by Robb to keep the score at 2-1. This one has lived up to the hype. Low scoring, but plenty of action. Would you agree, Jim?
Yeah, definitely. He's got, you take a look at O'Connor, you take a look at that breathing. Breathing pretty heavy.
O'Connor pinching the left side.
Oh,
he's head hunting.
He's got this tight, but nice job of Robb of limping out of that. Like you mentioned, Shane, looked like he had that. Nice front trip right there. Stay with him.
Left ankle scooped.
Yeah,
Robb working back to his feet.
Recognizing that if he has to ride him out the whole period to basically tie the match, opts for the release, and so national champion down by 2.
Fingers!
A late takedown in the first, that's the difference. Robb scoring it with just 5 seconds in the first.
Oh,
great technique.
Now down by 4.
And this place has come to life.
And again, Robb just stayed in that position, knows that O'Connor has to get active, and took the points when he felt it.
5-1, Robb up by 4. And I'd expect Jim to go to work on top and stay really stingy on that top position.
Yeah, I was able to get 32 seconds. You want to make him work in this top position. You want to give a quick release. Hand fighting. But with that takedown, basically O'Connor's going to need 2 and a ride out.
Yes. And just 50 seconds left.
And what you see here from Robb is that this is a great position for him because he's got the elbow tied up right now, not pushing in too much. He's keeping elevation with his head by posting that hand on the mat, getting back to a neutral position. Now he's measuring his shots. Measuring O'Connor's shots. He can sense where he is. This would be a big win for Robb if he can close it out. You know, it'd be even a bigger win if he could get this action and get back on a shot himself and get a scoring, takedown. This crowd will be up for grabs.
Good job right there to circle back in his butt towards the center, and they can feel it here inside the Devaney Center. Peyton Robb, ranked 16th, will knock off second-ranked Austin O'Connor. 5-2, the final.
It's November. All right. Meaningful matches. Had a few good ones, but not.
174 pounds. Mikey Labriola ranked 3rd in the nation, and Clay Lautt for North Carolina. There you see Lautt out of Olathe, Kansas, 3-time state champion out of St. James Academy. 1-1 here in the early going of this 2021-2022 campaign.
Yeah, Lautt is an ACC champion. He was also runner-up last year in the tournament. So a lot of success for him. And we should mention that Carolina does not have any super seniors in their program. They made a decision for that. Have pretty darn good jobs coming out in their senior year and that last year's senior class. Most of them decided to move on. And so Coleman Scott's a bit of a rebuild position, but you're doing that with a returning national champion and a lot of momentum. And we haven't mentioned much about their staff, and both these programs have great people in their staffs. You talk about Dr. Brian Snyder and Terrell Blegnup and Powell and others, but the Carolina staff, you got Tony Ramos. All right, you and I both got in a stare down with him today.
Yes, we did. And again, for the record, he looked away first. He looked away first when he was staring at me. He knew better.
For me, I got in a stance, right, and I had him get in a stance, and I stared him down, all right, and I started laughing after 2 seconds. I was no good.
Yeah, great stare down from Tony Ramos. Jamil Kelly, world silver medalist as well. Staff for Coleman Scott. We're scoreless with Labriola and Lautt. 90 seconds here remaining in the first. Labriola, 3rd in the country last March in St. Louis.
Good idea.
Labriola out of Bethlehem Catholic.
And he's one of those guys that you always hear about. Well, he really likes to open it up and get it going, and I think that's true. When he really gets on his horse and moving, he can really put up a lot of points on guys. And he's right there with Carter Starace a couple times, and in matches that they had, the national champion, and Michael Kemmerer from Iowa probably put it to him a few times. But he's at a stage right now where it'd be interesting to see if he's able to go ahead and come up to the next level where those two guys are.
Full commit, go under him.
Labriola, 4-time placer, 2-time state champion at Bethlehem Catholic, Easton, Pennsylvania. And this guy's dangerous.
Yes.
Lost a tight one to Carter Starace. The Big Ten championships fell to Bernie Truex at Cal Poly. 4-2 in the quarterfinals at the NCAA championships, then came back and beat him 8-3 for 3rd. And for Labriola, Jim, it's just letting it fly and creating offense because he's tough to beat when he's able to do that.
Well, he's one of those guys that he can open up the match and get that first takedown. you know, he exhales real well. But this is a tough match where Lautt is a good athlete, and he doesn't push into you too much. You know, he doesn't really kind of give it so much in wrestling. You're counting on that opponent to push into you, and you can either change levels, go down low, or you can go ahead and snap them down, or you can go ahead and get an angle.
There's Tony Ramos, associate head coach, national champion for the Iowa Hawkeyes in 2014.
It's dangerous, folks. Don't look directly into his eyes, all right? It's dangerous. You might start laughing.
He always said whoever looked away, it was a sign of weakness. If I remember right, he referenced Mike Tyson back in those days with the stare down.
I tell you what, one thing about Tony Ramos, you did when he won the Big Tens, and you got that relief he got when he got, he's going to finally see his name on the board in the Iowa wrestling room. But the job that he did in the national tournament that year to win an NCAA title, all right, in the top position, in the ride-out position, to get back points. You know, if you had a running odds at that point in time, live odds and what was happening, it was like, you know, you would have to put there's a nice little duck under there by Labriola.
Great level change from Labriola.
Good mat return. But the way that he won his national title was so unique. You've never seen it done before. We're talking about Ramos here. And that match was unreal. And then he took on that momentum and made a couple of world teams and did really well for himself in the international level, and now doing a great job for the Tar Heels.
He beat Tyler Graff to win that Big Ten crown and that NCAA title in 2014. One of the good guys, really good guy. And I think he's got a really bright future in coaching. Wife Megan and him have 4 young kids. There's an escape, and Lautt is on the board 3-1. Intermat rankings 1, 2, 3 in the Big Ten. Starachi, Michael Kemmerer, and Labriola. Ethan Smith of Ohio State ranked 6th. Andrew McNally, Wisconsin, ranked 8th. Tough weight class here in the Big Ten at 174.
But again, in this match, notice how hard it is for the Nebraska wrestler to get their offense off, because the Carolina wrestlers are just keeping their own balance out there. I can hear Coleman yelling, keep your butt underneath you. Basically what he's saying is don't bend over at the waist. You know, keep your butt underneath you. Keep staying in a good athletic position. Carry your own weight out there on your feet and see what opens up.
Solid second period for Labriola.
Now he gets to his shot. Yep, finishes. Nice job by Labriola with that shin wizard. Notice how he's got that right palm right on the outside of his shin.
Short time.
Right.
Keep working.
He grabs his left wrist as well as he tries to spin around. He'll keep that 3-1 lead to the third.
It's a good shot there by Lautt. If he could go ahead and get up to his feet off of that finish instead of just hanging in there. Sometimes you surprise yourself. You got in there and bury your head.
Stay set, Green.
Mark Manning on the screen. Brian Snyder was to the right. Robert Kokesh and Servel Delagnev on the seats next to Coach Manning.
Yeah, it's say hi to Robert's dad up there in South Dakota doing all the farming work, and while his son's down here in Lincoln losing his calluses.
Mr. Kokesh, my guest, Jim, he's got his DVR tonight because he's still working right now.
Right, exactly. Nice shot again there by Lautt. He's in on it.
Good look at the flexibility of Labriola. How do you finish here if you're Lautt, Jim?
You just got to try to get up. And now at this shin wizard point, now you got all the weight on your head. You just got to try to get to your feet, but keep your ankles clean. Get to your feet, but keep your ankles clean. So I notice how he came back up there. Now if he can come up and stay up on the inside of it, but Labriola tough. But you got to try to come to your feet, keep your ankles clean, and Labriola did just enough and pushed back at the right time to clear it out.
Hey, mention Lautt, an ACC champion a couple years ago. Also NWCA honorable mention All-American that year. Last year ACC runner-up. He was a 16th seed at the national tournaments. These guys wrestled, Jim, at the national tournament. Labriola beating Lautt then 8-4. Lautt lost his first match, then won 3 straight on the backside before falling to the Cornhusker Labriola. 30 seconds left. Good exchange.
Good left-handed little high crotch right there. Short time. hard-fought match.
Now work here.
Labriola with a takedown in the seconds.
Good answer by Labriola there with that action.
That'll prove to be the difference as Labriola will hang on 3-2. Another victory for the Cornhuskers. This one at 174 pounds. Labriola off to a quick start this season. A victory for the Cornhuskers.